Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this week's fun astrology hour. I'm your host, Suzy. Woo! I want you to live a life that makes you want to say, woo! Fabulous. So, welcome to summer, the first almost full week of summer. I'm here in New York, and in New York, we have two seasons. It's either snow plowing season or construction season. And so now it is construction season. And it takes me extra time to get in, so I guess I got to leave a little bit earlier. But it is what it is. Okay, wonderful, wonderful to be here. And so every week we do this little meetup. It's kind of like astrology hour, but it's also energy, just talking about the current energies and what's going on and how you can learn a little bit about this astrology, kind of scratching the surface of astrology, while also sharing about like the Schumann resonance and how astrology impacts you, and that you are walking, living astrology. Uh, it's a language, it's a science, and when you learn how to read the language, it helps you to be able to predict what areas of life are lit up for you. And knowledge is power, and I like knowing stuff. And then when I know stuff, I like teaching stuff. So I do teach everything I know. Alrighty. So, another thing that I do offer now and then is in exchange for allowing me to share the experience on my YouTube channel, that I offer a free reading that would be, obviously public. So I'm going to be posting one of those. I did one last week, and I just haven't had a chance to upload it yet, but it is very, 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 very cool. And then if you are actually interested in learning astrology and how to read the language, I offer a beginner, an intermediate, and an advanced beginner level. I might not have said it right, but I'm going to be offering that at the end of summer. Okay, and if you are new to my channel, I would really love if you resonate with me to like this video and to ring the little notification bell. That way you can be alerted when I post something new, and subscribe to my channel. I also have a newsletter on my website, which is SUZY-WOO.com. Right on the front page, homepage, you can click subscribe, and you will get you'll get a link with a sound healing for your high heart chakra, and we could all use that. You know what? I always can't stand looking in the camera because I can't tell what side is what. I guess it's reversed. Yeah, it's reversed. Anyways, I'm a big baby, like about my underwear showing. Like bras are underwear, and I don't really like my bra strap showing. So I'm sitting here looking really silly, fidgeting. So pardon me for that. We all have our little tics, right? Okay, so let us start with bringing up the astrology of today. I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to read it together. Here we go. All right, this is what the astrology of today looks like. Ooh, we always want to jump in where your attention goes. And where my attention goes is this boatload of Cancer energy down here. Okay, now when I'm doing these nice little free things, I use the natural house system because it is the easiest. I also kind of call it vanilla. All right. Um, And what that actually means is that Aries is the first house, Taurus is the second house. This is the natural house system. And when you calculate in the time that you were born, that is going to alter the beginning of the orientation of your chart. Let me share an example. Here is my chart. Oops, natal here. Okay, so this is my chart. I was born at 1:40 p.m. And at 1:40 p.m. at the latitude that I was born, the sun, which is again this red circle with the dot in the middle, was up high in the sky. All right, because it's 20 to 2 in the afternoon. And here is the sun, and the sun is only 6 degrees away from my midheaven. Remember that top point is called the midheaven. And so this house system is called Placidus, and it's the one that I use for timing techniques, doing your personal chart reading. But for teaching how to read astrology, we're going to use basic vanilla chart. We're not going to put a different time on it. And so, see, where's zero Aries? So for me, zero Aries is all the way over here in my fifth house. But we're not going to be doing that. Instead, we're looking at this one. Okay, so in a vanilla natural house system, Aries will always fill in the first house and then each one follows after the next. Okay, now then, all this Cancer energy down here. 2 days ago, we had the sun with Jupiter, so that's a big, powerful kiss from Jupiter that would love to bring you bountiful blessings if you show up. Now, we've already talked about that, and that's the generosity of Jupiter always rewards you when you show up. Um, the only exception is the Sagittarius rising person, which has a by default horseshoe up their rear end. Now, today we've got this yellow guy over here at 29. Remember, that's called the anaretic degree, the last degree of any zodiac sign can bring up a surge of urgency. Oh my God, I got to get things done. And if you're born with anything at 29 degrees, that can bring up crisis. All right, now this is in Mercury. This yellow guy's Mercury. That's the planet of communication. And Mercury has been going through the sign of Cancer. And that means communication has been more emotional because Cancer is the most emotional sign. The moon is in its rulership in Cancer. And we just had this full moon yesterday, in fact. This new moon is kicking off another, the next actually 12, no, the next July, a year, 13 months that is time stamped by, I actually, let's go to yesterday. Uh, we don't have to. We know that when the new moon happens, it means the sun and the moon are together. And it peaked, it perfected yesterday. Today, here is the moon. It's at 22 degrees of Cancer. It ought to be leaving Cancer tonight. And then tomorrow it'll move into Leo and we'll have a wonderful, laughy, great time this weekend. Hopefully, because when the moon is in Leo, people like to have fun. They like to go to entertainment events, and it's laughter, it's joy, it's playfulness. This is the energy of Leo, and the moon is our emotions. The moon changes signs every 2.5 days. So, how have you been feeling the last 2 days? Have you been more emotional, reflective, inward? All this Cancerian energy is internal. It's inward. It's nighttime. It's reflective. It's a yin feminine energy. And again, you are living astrology. You have Cancer in your chart somewhere. That is where all of these, this is the red number 4 is Jupiter. This is the sun. This is the moon. And this is Mercury. So all of those things, don't pay attention to this thing that looks like an aspirin. Don't worry about that, okay? Those things are, these things here, this Cancer energy, this timestamp for the next 13 months is asking you to be more reflective, to make some decisions. And sometimes those decisions are cutting. What is brushing up against this conglomerate. It's called a stellium. When you have three or more planets in a particular sign, it's called a stellium. So we have a stellium in Cancer, Jupiter, Sun, Moon, Mercury. And it is being squared. Now, before I even get to that, this Cancer energy, it's initiatory. So hopefully, if you've been with me for a little while, you're starting to pick up cardinal signs, initiatory. Cardinal energy is Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn. So if you have a lot of that energy, or if you have a lot of planets in those houses, 1, 4, 7, and 10, this means you have a lot of initiating energy. Let's go. I want to start something. I can't just sit still. You are a change agent. You are an idea person, and you get a flurry of ideas. But if you don't have a lot of fixed energy, and the fixed signs are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. If you don't have a lot of that, or if you don't have a lot of planets in the second house, fifth, eighth, and 11th, then you need to delegate stuff. You may get all of these ideas, and now I'm going to just circle back so that you can stick with me here. If you have a lot of Aries energy, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, or planets in the first house, fourth house, seventh house, 10th house, this means you want to get things going. You might not be very patient, and if you're not with me, fine, I'll start without you. And I'm gonna run ahead and I'm gonna get this thing going and I want to launch. But if you lack, because you can't have everything, we can't have all of everything in our chart. There's only so many planets to go around. And so they land in a particular sign, and then the planet in the sign lands in a particular house. And then each layer of those has meaning. Now we have a lot of cardinal energy. Over here, the Aries energy, and this is going to be long running. We've got Saturn with Neptune. Don't worry about the little V. And this is an asteroid, and this is Chiron. Now, we're not going to worry about the asteroid, but we are going to look at Chiron. I wonder if I can quickly turn off the anything extra. I'm just going to check. I want to not display Eris. Instead, I turn more things on. So let's undo that. Display chart points. Nothing else is checked there. All right, we're going to leave it alone. Okay, so Chiron is what got shut down on us when we were very young. It's been in the sign of Aries for a while. It's there a lot for long durations. But it is moving through Aries. It's getting to the later degrees now. And Aries is our identity and it's the head. We have Saturn and Neptune together, newly there. This is getting warmed up about something, about structure in our lives, about convention and tradition that maybe is starting to wear thin, our belief systems, our faith, but also our telepathy, our spirituality, and what we think about spiritual systems and belief systems. It's open for change. Maybe it's up for renewal and you're re-evaluating what you feel in alignment with. Okay. And so the first house will always be in a square to the other cardinal signs. Aries squares Cancer. So when we have a square, which is a 90-degree angle, when we are three signs away, 1, 2, 3, when we have something that is three signs away, and the other side would be one, two, three, it would be stuff in Capricorn, but we don't have any planets right now in Capricorn. So that's not applying. What does is what we have. It's a square between Aries, which is first, and I don't know anything. I'm going to jump in and figure it out, and Cancer, which is emotional and family matters. And so this could definitely lead to flying the coop, leaving the nest, um, cutting the apron strings, or maybe it's a return to home. Maybe you went out and your venture didn't work and you need to come back and live with your family members or something like that. And so it's between me, my and home, real estate, family values, my emotional state, and that is created from how your family made you feel when you were little and being raised, being trained, being conditioned, and or indoctrinated by certain systems. And that is rooted in your family beliefs. So this is, obviously it's not a judgment call. It's whatever you were raised in and around, whether you were supported or not. Um, and so this is actually a conflict. When we have a square, it means there's a conflict to be resolved. It's an opportunity. It's not easy street. And this is something we have to be looking at in our lives right now. Where is who I want to be in conflict with the way I was raised? So let's say you were raised, like I was raised loosely Roman Catholic, and we had to go to, church and all that stuff. And um, but I don't support a lot of the things that were taught. And then we did send our kids to Catholic grammar school. Come to find out, the leader of that church was a pedophile who was on the news, and yeah, like a real case. And so I really don't, and I also remember when I was a kid, the father, well, you call him father of the church, um, my dad got in an argument with that father because apparently our family wasn't donating enough money. So I don't have a lot of good feelings about the teachings and my actual life experience. And so if it's so that's an example. And so I hang on to what feels fitting that I like and I release what doesn't. This is what everybody who has any level of maturity should be doing everywhere in their life. If you don't like somebody's channel, don't watch it. Um, but what this conflict is doing, all of this Aries energy says, I know what's best. I'm right. You're messed up. And that's bad. This is, the Hatfields versus the McCoys. It's absolute tension. And it could bring up stuff about homeland security. My country's better. Your people are bad. That kind of thing. And anything that instills segregation is not good. We must move towards a unity consciousness. It's a must. You gotta, because conflict, the lower vibration of conflict means, never mind, I'm just going to plow over you and have no regard. But the higher expression says, you know what? Maybe I can learn something from you. And even if I can agree to disagree, if we can agree that we don't see things the same way, I can still love, honor, and respect you because you are a human being. You have consciousness. You were born pure. And I can respect, I mean, that's what namaste means. The God in me honors the God in you. They're comparable. That's this, we want to invite conflict resolution. And that is not something that we are taught, unfortunately. And that's why we have a lot of people acting like it's the old Wild West, which is bad. All right. How do we blend the square? How do we work with this square? Release the need to be right. You don't need to have the last word. And this doesn't come easy to people who, they might be a little bit of a control freak. Um, Especially, I'm right. And let's fight and all that kind of, it is crap. It's bad. But again, it was instilled, it was in people's upbringing. I remember when I was really little, there were a lot of those Cowboys and Indians TV shows and the John Wayne and okay, what did that actually instill? Okay. Um, we're in a whole different energy bed now. Yet we still have this subconscious belief system, less, more, right, wrong, battle of ego, forget all of that. All right. You want to be able to have an identity. This is who I am. This is what I believe in. But does it have any grounds? Does it have any roots? Or is it just because that's what you were fed? And you're going to go out and you're going to fight or hurt somebody because of what was told to you. Think about, I don't remember which countries, but I do know there are countries that are in the Middle East that are taught to hate their neighboring country. But guess what? These are starseed people. These are starseed young people who are opposing that. Why would I be raised to hate anybody? They're a human being with consciousness just like I am. I don't want to hate anybody. Hate is such a powerfully negative word. To me, it's a swear word. I just, I don't like the energy of it at all. And if somebody uses that word, it's very strong. All right. What we're dealing with this square here, and this is like how you can read the astrology to anticipate what's going on in the world. So out in the world, which is called mundane astrology, this is conflict over what? Cancer stuff, homeland security. But at the same time, it's emotional, it's protecting, and protecting of my homeland, my flag. But this Aries energy, unfortunately, especially with Saturn there too, that's organized. It could be organized violence. And so that could be planned attacks. And then with Saturn Neptune together, that can be holy wars. Now, honestly, my opinion, based on when I plug in and I just get a channel of a flow of information from my guidance team about conflict, short-lived is the answer. Short-lived, short-lived, short-lived. And so please don't go into panic and fear mode. Um, Rather, live every day to the fullest. Appreciate the life that you have. Let go of guilt, shame that your family may have superimposed on you. So many people, unfortunately, have been told that they weren't wanted or by their parents. Um, and it does create a complex. It's up to you to do something about it, not point your finger and blame saying, I hate my parents or I'm this way because of them. It's learning to accept that so that you can move on from it and heal from it. Because if you have, let's say, evil parents, let's say, or evil family members, that feel like they were just against you ever since day one, how can you work with that energy? Because you are constantly reminded that either like you suck, you're no good, I didn't want you, or whatever that is. This is how to work through that. Because you always have to find the silver lining to have a deeper and rich, more meaningful life. You're either going to swirl in victimhood or you're going to not circle around and cut it and let it be an upward spiral versus a downward spiral. If this applies to you, this is how to work through it. My parents' job was to bring me into this world. Their job is done. I disconnect, and I'm not going to blame them for anything. I am grateful to be here, and I am going to make the best of my life. That's how you do that. And I hope that that makes sense and that it's helpful. Okay. So on a personal level now, on a personal level, if you have a lot of cardinal energy, this is getting super duper activated and you might feel conflicted, you might feel invaded upon, or that your boundaries are not being respected. Now, water signs, which Cancer is one of them, water signs, very deep, very emotional, sentimental, hurt easily, sensitive. This is where you could say the smallest little thing and just somebody blows up. Excuse me, blows up. Um, oh, hey, would you like to, have a little get together for this? No, I'm gonna do that. What? And they like freak out, take it personally, and tear you a new butthole. Um, please don't take that personally. They are getting all, it's because it's like a rejection wound. You have every right to do what it is that you wish to do. If somebody is inviting you to do something that you don't want to participate in, you have the right of refusal. You don't have to. Now, most of your life, you might have played along because, well, they're my family member or whatever their title is, and I don't want to upset the apple cart. That's not going to hold water anymore. Saturn and Neptune in Aries, that is your identity. With Chiron moving through the final degrees of Aries, actually, I think it's going to be going retrograde soon, but did I speak my truth? Did I stand up for myself? And if you don't, you're going to bury it. And if you bury it, it's going to result in an illness like thyroid issues. When you don't speak your truth, when you don't stand up for yourself, you're going to end up having a thyroid or a throat or a neck concern or even your lower jaw, massive tension in your jaw. There is a medical astrology discipline of astrology. It all weaves in together, and that's why I love it so much because there's so many ways that you can apply it, and you could see timing. Like, when am I gonna heal from a particular condition? Astrology will give you that. People that are born with particular health concerns, it is in the chart. So it's so fascinating at how accurate it truly is. All right. What else is going on here? Am I done talking about this square? I think so. So we talked about the mundane astrology, conflict. Personal astrology, it's still conflict, but how do you work with it? It's by cutting the apron strings, letting go, and going your own way. It doesn't mean you suddenly turn into a jerk, but it does mean I need to say what I need to say. Now, let me move to this Taurus energy. We talked about Venus in Taurus. She's there for a little longer. But here we've got Uranus at the final degree, anaretic degree, critical degree of Taurus, does rule the throat. It rules self-perception, self-worth, value, income, resources, my collections. July 7th, Uranus is going to move into Gemini. There will be very significant changes because anytime these slower moving planets change signs, big things happen. They're always marked with big, big things, without exception. All right, let's come back. Wait, I was going to say something about that. Oh, it has to do with truth. It has to do with the higher mind. This is actually where you may feel very dialed in with other consciousness entities, beings, light beings, angels, guides, extraterrestrials, collective consciousnesses, or would it be conscious nigh? Just kidding. Um, we'll see how that shows up. How many years have they been preparing us for the alien invasion? Okay, we have galactic DNA, all right? So this is don't play into any of that stuff. Uh, I'm really excited about that. Speak your truth, stand on your truth. Really important. Okay, so that's how these the square of the Aries energies conflicting with the Cancer energy. I want to fight for my right. This is what I want to do. I'm sorry, I don't want to go play your games anymore. I'm sorry, I don't want to play the victim and I don't want to be the target of abuse in my family dynamic anymore. I'm sick of being the fall guy, the scapegoat, and I'm not going to play. And you want to be doing that. You want to be saying, I'm not going to. I'm no longer going to feed into people pleasing, going along to get along. I'm going to go my own way and I'm going to not make myself available to you. That's power. Okay. Oh, where's Mars? Over here. Okay. We are going to be having Mars running into the South Node. That is going to bring up men from the past because Mars is men, Venus is women, and Venus is going to be running into, oh my, Venus is going to be running into Uranus. Hmm. And then Mars is going to be running into the past life. The South Node is stuff for people from the past. Okay, so this could be, it could be a vow renewal. There might be people renewing their vows or going on exotic vacations. This also can break the surface of people from our past, relationships of the past, and either realizing, you know what, I've been in love with you my whole life, but maybe I was unavailable and you were unavailable, and now we're both available, and let's connect and live happily ever after. That could be I don't know if I want to say a theme, but a potential. Actually, it's a strong potential. I definitely want to mention though, just because it's showing up doesn't mean it's a yes. You must use discernment. But because Venus and Mars are the cosmic lovers, she's going to be running into Uranus, and that is, it could be coming out of the closet because Uranus is androgynous. This could be big wave of gay rights, the LGBTQI plus population could be taking to the streets. Now, I am aware it is Pride Month, but these two planets coming together in the sign of Taurus, which is the throat, it's the body, It's how I rep myself, my clothing, how I dress myself, how I present myself. It's makeup, it's how I represent myself, how I feel beautiful. That's Venus and Taurus. Running into the planet Uranus, I would anticipate a whole wave of people are going to be coming out of the closet and or another expression of unusual relationship. Now, I know there's love with inanimate objects. Um, I don't, for some reason, I got harsh and cruel. Um, so if I just take a second to follow that, okay, so when we have a lack of acceptance, when we have rejection, a lot of times it just buries us deeper. Uh, am I ready to stop sharing for a minute? Because, I think we have, like, we read the chart and then we have a little bit of lecture time or like, real talk time. And so, yeah, we're gonna go down this rabbit hole. Let's see. Um, I'm gonna actually stop the recording for a minute. I gotta turn down my.
By the way, I've been enjoying just listening to, the information and stuff. I'm used to astrology, definitely interested. So this is just fascinating. I love it. Thank you.
Oh, good. Good. Thank you. Alrighty, so we want to talk about now the cosmic lovers, Venus and Mars. So we know that Venus and Uranus are going to be coming together. That's going to be a love of the unusual. I'm getting really excited about this. So I would anticipate something about extraterrestrials and people become infatuated by it. So a new topic of focus. It's definitely not it's not Star Wars. It's not no scare, okay? Don't worry about anything that's coming in. You have been a soul before you even had a physical body. Excuse me. Most of your content is actually non-physical. Most of you is your higher self, these other facets. You're living all these different timelines at the same time. And that is how you can actually rewrite your past to create healthier future timelines. This is such cool stuff. And I almost feel like an infatuation. And so this might bring a wave of uh, interest and really deep diving into the cosmos, other intelligence, because clearly we are not the only intelligence in the whole universe. Really? Now, when I was younger, of course, I didn't believe in any of that stuff. Or, um, and my first teacher was talking to somebody else at the end of a class about it, and I was like, what? I totally didn't believe it. And it scared me a little bit, but now it's juicy. I love it. And obviously I admitted on the Jeff Mara podcast of my cosmic experiences. And so now I have a way better understanding of kind of how it works and how you can tap into your own starseed origin. Very exciting stuff. That's what's going to be happening now. How that might happen? There might be a crash landing. Oh, it could just simply be declassification of the captured beings that were discovered in the 40s. Actually, I'm seeing 1926 is the year I'm seeing. But what I'm extracting is that it was publicized in the 40s and then hushed, and then watered down and then buried. And now it looks like, so it's a resurgence of extraterrestrial knowledge that is going to be declassified. That's really exciting. And then that's helping me to know what classes I should create for for what's coming up. is how to tap into your own starseed nature. Okay. Now I do those readings. You can always book a reading with me, and I can channel your spirit guides, and I can tell you your extraterrestrial nature. And when I do those readings, people highly resonate with it. So it's not some broad stroke. It's like I'm never here to convince anybody of anything. Okay, and then we've got Mars. Mars, the masculine energy, is going to be joining with the South Node. And what that means, it's stuff from our past. That does feel like galactic wars, but this is where it's not a winning the battle, it's an integration. That's awesome. Oh my God. All right. I definitely see the words cosmic wisdom. So this is good. Oh, there could be a movie. Neptune and the first degree with Saturn, the first couple of degrees of Aries with Saturn. That's an organized something. And you know when there's big, what do you call those office box smashes? Um, um, uh, big movies that change everything. E.T. was one of them. There might be one of those coming out. Neptune rules movies. And oh man, it's with Saturn, which is government. And I really feel this is going to be more of a reveal of what's going on, like with things like, I don't know if I'm allowed to say, I'll find out, shadow government. That's the people that you don't see, the ones that are actually marionetting the puppet strings. And it's actually really good. This is being dismantled, and the illusion is going to be made known, and you will see the truth. That's exciting. In this timeline. All right, so that means those of us who have a particular level of conscious awareness, which means there's an acceptance. I can go bring my awareness up to this particular state, and then you could read the information there. But for those who refuse to see, who are closed minded, well, then they won't see it and they will refuse and they will deny and they will fight. And they're going to be the ones, I'm right and might makes right and I need to have the last word. And that's none of you guys. That's none of this channel. That's none of what happens with anything that I do. But when I read, when I'm in that stream of information, I'm very aware there's different levels. It feels like levels that I go to, and different information is on each like floor. It's really exciting stuff. Okay. Um, uh, so I just want to say that there, I expect an upsurge of people coming out of the closet. There is going to be a new, so you've got the LGBTQI plus. I think there's going to be another one added to that. Now there is people that identify as an animal, and secondhand news or information is that there is a like a litter box in a classroom. So how does that get by the Board of Health? Okay, so there has to be certain kind of limitations. That would be Saturn, over the identity, which is Aries, and then Neptune is illusion and delusion, and imagination, and that the shadow of that is delirium. Okay, so you have to play by the rules, Saturn. You could express yourself, but like if you are not one of us, we're not going to let you in. The what do you call that? The staunch brothers club, um, the boys club. Um, that hammer falling, it creates separation, but it also creates a wave of community where we all rise together. And that's what I'm about. I love all people. I absolutely do not judge. I love everybody. And if somebody is a bad, you might consider them a bad person if they've done really harmful things. They were born pure. They were not born that way. And so you just want to protect yourself. You don't want to entangle with people who are in a lower vibration. You want to stay in your protective energy and you just send them love from afar because that's what they actually need. Because remember, hurt people hurt people. But you got to protect yourself and not put yourself in harm's way. Okay. Because you need a way to work with what we're surrounded by. Now, the rejection of particular populations will create a welcoming on the other side of that. And that is where we have a sense of community, right? And I super love that. Like, to me, it's the island of misfit toys. Super identify with that. Um, very much so. Like, I think it's more fun to not go along to get along, even though the whole over half of my life that's what I did. Voiceless, don't want to disturb the apple cart. But now, because I know who I am, because I am in there, okay, how much in there are you? Do you know who you are? Do you know what you stand for? There's that phrase, if you don't stand for anything, you'll fall for everything. You need to know what you stand for. What are your morals? What are your values? And is your lifestyle supporting that? So if you here, I used to work at the IRS. Okay, I am anti all of that stuff, but it pays the bills. That's incongruency. Where are you living non-congruently? Where is that? And what can you do about it so that you feel amazing about what you do every single day? That was the last regular job that I had, was working at the IRS, and it super sucked. Do not recommend. Um, so I'm glad to see that they are minimizing. And isn't it interesting how the news played that out? They did the emotional tugging on your heartstrings to get you upset, at the leadership, saying, "Oh, look, I've had my job at the IRS for 35 years, and now I risk being homeless." Okay, there's a paycheck that goes until, I don't know, November or something. So, there's people who don't have a job, who can't get a job, who are disabled, who have issues. Okay, so if this person who's been working at the IRS for 35 years, it means they got a reasonable income. It means they've got some probably 401, whatever. It means that hopefully they have had their life in order. Okay, how many people have been in the unemployment line? Come on, right? And so this is just the angle point that the mainstream produces to get you to react, to get you to have an emotional reaction. And then that rises up, and now it's got energy. Now it's got strength. And bad. Oh, how bad. I can't believe they're getting rid of all these IRS agents. Let them. Let them. That's my opinion, educated opinion. Um, anyway, um, so what's going on over this next week? Okay, I want to move now to Mars being in the sign of Virgo. I don't think I went through that last week. I think last week we went through Jupiter. Yes, we did. We went through Jupiter in each house. If you watched that live premiere, that kind of botched up, but it worked. It worked. It worked after the first 10 minutes. That was Jupiter in all of the houses for the next year. See where that is in your chart. Where is Cancer in your chart? And we have a stellium in Cancer that's getting ready to end with Mercury on the final degree. Be careful because you might say stuff that you didn't actually mean to say, or you could be more easily triggered by somebody else and maybe they didn't mean it, but maybe you have a reaction. Why? Because Mercury, planet of communication, is at the last degree. So it could bring up crisis. Now, it could also bring a sense of urgency that I want to make good with somebody. I want to make amends with somebody because if something happened to them, I could never live with myself. So these are days that you might feel that. And forgive where it's fitting. But again, you're forgiving for you. You're not forgiving for them. You don't want to be carrying those chains of torture around keeping score. It's never worth it. Let it go. Okay? This way, you have all of your energy for all of your day. And then when you are living in a way that is congruent with your belief systems, with what your values are, then you become a superpower. You get really bright from the inside out and you kind of start glowing. When you live in alignment with who you truly are and you are living in alignment with your purpose, with your vision, with your mission, and this is when your peoplescape, your landscape changes. So there could be friends, family members. They're like, "Ooh, I don't like her. You're becoming." They might not say it, but they don't come around as much. Or that's fine. Let them. Mel Robbins, let them. Right? Let them. It's okay. Don't go running back. Oh, wait a minute. I want you to like me. Are we good? Don't do that. There is no more room for that. No more. We've been doing that our whole lives. We're at a breaking point. It's a separation of timelines. Big, wonderful time to get in touch with your higher self. And for people, so many people are really stressed out. So I wouldn't tell you to meditate because you can't get out of your head. Instead, listen to really nice, peaceful music without words. You know who I really like is Enya, Enya. I found her. I really like her music. Um, Peaceful, angelic. I also love 528 hertz music. There's lots of them on YouTube. But just because it says it, don't trust it. Play it and see if it feels nice. Um, what else? Go inwards during this Cancer season. Cancer season is inward. Inward. It's nighttime. It's reflective. It's family matters, home, safety. What do you need in your life to feel safe? Do you feel safe in your own skin? Um, Work on that. Maybe consult a therapist of any kind whatsoever, holistic or otherwise, to help you work through your childhood issues because that's also the sign of Cancer. It's your childhood. Your childhood is what created a lot of the problems you have today. Maybe not directly, but that was shown what healthy is, what your baseline is, and you're going to operate from that. And so, let's say if there was neglect or abuse, you're going to grow up thinking that that's normal and you will accept less than wonderful behavior. All right, it's time to allow that to resolve and dissolve so that you can have the right partners, the right people, the right community, the right friends, the right neighborhoods. Because when we are not accepted, it's actually a blessing in disguise, even though it hurts. But it's because you're going to show up with the other rejects, and then together you form a sense of community and support. And that's what we need. That's what we need. We need unity. We need to move towards unity consciousness. It's very, very important. And if you have any feelings about separation and segregation, then you are moving away from that unity consciousness. And that is going to create separation inside. And when you have separation inside, then those lower vibrations start to simmer. And we don't like that because you know what it does? It gives you inflammation. Like health wise, it gives you inflammation. People who have a lot of resentment will end up having stomach cancer or colon cancer. People who have an issue not letting things go will have constipation. Like all of it is interwoven and it can be read, it could be predicted, and when is it going to break? And that has to do with your level of consciousness. I could read a chart and let's say it's two different people. One is an angry person who thinks everybody owes them. And I can read that chart and it'll make sense. But for somebody who's enlightened, who maybe has the same exact chart, they are living the higher road expression of some of the planets in the signs in the houses. So reading a chart gives you a potential. And why it's so wonderful is because it shows you, oh, I've been living the low road expression of that, which means you can work with it so that you can evolve and grow and move into a deeper level understanding of who you are. Who do you love? How do you love? What is your love language? That's under some revisions because she's about to run into Uranus, which is going to be non conventional. And there might even be a, oh no, there might be a horrible hate crime against somebody or a group or a community. That's what could show up. Oh, damn. I'm getting goosebumps on the back of my arm. So that means it's a yes. I really wish these things wouldn't happen. So we're going to see in the news, it could be a shooting, it could be a fire, because Mars is god of war. It's a fiery energy. And Saturn, it could actually be like execution style, military operations. And see, there's always different potentials of how the blending of those energies can present themselves. But it's always able to be traced back down to the astrology. And even when people transition, when people are born, when people transition, when there's additional siblings being born, all of that is in the chart too. Isn't that so cool? Okay, so we're at the end of our hour already. It goes by so fast. Thank you so very much for joining me. I hope that you've enjoyed it half as much as I have. And I'll be back again next week. Um, and if you have any
It's been
questions
wonderful. Thank
that you'd
you.
like to be covered, I'd love if you would send me an email or you can comment on this video. And I would really love if you would subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if somebody you know would enjoy this content, share the love. Okay, everybody, I'm going to give you a great big hug as always. I love you and appreciate every single one of you. And I would love to do your personal reading for you. You can always book a session on my website. Again, it's suzy-woo.com. It's Suzy with a Y, not an I, SUZY-WOO.com. And I hope you have a magnificent week, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.